All right, people, we are here with another new one today, and on this one, somewhat following the same theme of the last couple videos, helping out but both beginners and people who are also like, you're not a beginner, but you're still trying to get your resources, your roster filled out, and everything like that. We're gonna go over the best elites today, and the way we're gonna do it, rather than doing like a traditional tier list or so, that wouldn't necessarily work, at least doing it from my opinion, because I, like I said before, I'm very guard heavy. So a tier list would be very guard biased based on who I've used so far, what people I've experienced, and everything. You feel me? So instead, that's why I said we're going to do best at each position. So that way, regardless of what position you play, this should be something that'll be helpful for you in maybe picking who it is you want to use if your play style might be similar to mine. Um, and then number two, like I said, is going to help those people that just need to fill their roster out as well, or maybe interested in trying out other player positions in the game. Okay. Starting with point guard, the way we're going to kind of rank these is which ones I would say are best for solo queue and which ones are best for team play. Team play will be people that have team abilities or just work really well with teammates in certain ways. Solo queue is going to be people that are capable of doing a lot of heavy scoring or affecting the game like extremely heavily. That way, if you're in a position where you are playing by yourself, you have something that can help you out. If you do have people and you have good teams to run with and stuff, you'll still be in good hands too. Okay, so let's get into it. First off, we're going to cover. They turned a lot of point guards to superstars. Chris Paul and Westbrook were elites before, but now it's just Jamal and these guys up here. Not going to include Jamal because I don't have him. My quick opinion on him is he revolves around running around screens, and I don't see him a lot anymore. Like later in my rank, which is another thing that I'll put like just as a thing to think about with some of these guys. There'll be certain guys that'll kind of fall off later on and you won't really be able to use. And then there are some guys who, even after you have your superstars built out, you might still be able to get some good value out of them. Okay. Luca, I would say heavily for solo queue people for sure. Um with him and LaMelo, it does feel like LaMelo is still fairly easy. You can still score with him probably easy. Like he's actually the easier person to get into. Maybe if you're not used to playing point guard or anything like that. Um, his move, his skill combo, all that stuff is fairly, easy. He's not too crazy. He can pass out of his shots. Crazy like gather step layup animation that you can choose to go into the layup or not if you want to. It's more like a floater for real. He's nice. But like I said, I feel like Luca, he has a higher skill ceiling just because he has so many different moves, um, and then can pass out of all his moves as well. So somebody who's new, you'll probably enjoy what you'll be able to do on Lamelo more first. But after you've spent some time playing, definitely Luca is that one for scoring wise. He's even pretty consistent from the 3 point line, which is a little rare for some of the guards. He can be more consistent than you would think a point guard can be. Um, I don't really talk about this guy anymore. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's one of those that maybe if you're straight up beginning, he's a little fun, but yeah, he's not too usable really once you even get into ranked. Let alone once you get further. I'm sure there's gonna be somebody in the top 100 of using him that says he's crazy and all this, all this different stuff. That's fine. Um, It's one of the great thing about the game. You can play it and push people to their max potential just from spending time learning them, learning how people react to them and stuff. So that is possible. It's just not what I've done. Okay. So, like I said, for point guards, we're going to end it with Luca is best for solo queue. LaMelo is going to be best for team play. Both of them you still see way later on at rank, so they'll both be pretty good options. It really just comes down to if you want to go into learning all the different moves and everything, timing, uh, contest range, all that for LaMelo. I mean, for Luca, or if you just want the simpler game of LaMelo. Okay. Now, when we talk about shooting guards, it's fairly simple. Um, Straight off rip, Hero is the best one. Uh, yeah, I like Crawford. I was a big fan of him. I don't know what player model he had before. Like this wasn't Jamal Crawford when I played with him on the Philippine servers. They changed it to Jamal Crawford along with a few other people that they added when they brought him over here. So I don't remember who this used to be. I just remember the kit was really fun. He could probably use a little update. So a little honorable mention. Best shooting guard, like I said, is going to be Tyler Hero. Now, if we're talking solo queue, your options are Hero and Clarkson, with Hero being the simpler one to use, but he's just extremely consistent from the three. Um, Clarkson being like a budget Shea slash Harden. He can move around a good bit on the court. Long dribble combos, double step back three that he can cancel. Um, just a lot of different solid moves between the both of them. Teamwork wise, okay, playing on solid teams, these are going to be two of the best options. They work really well on teams. I wouldn't use them in solo queue. You kind of can with Booker, but I feel like his consistency is fairly low outside the 3 point line, at least going from his main move people want to use on him, his fake little dribble move and then pull up. It doesn't really hit a lot when I play against Bookers that try to pull it from the three, mid range, almost unstoppable, but at the three, it's like, yeah. And the whole point of playing shooting guard is kind of to be able to get those threes off because they're supposed to be able to do it better than anybody else. So he's okay. Definitely recommend Clay Thompson more if you know you got a solid team. But even in that, Hero is just so good that I would honestly say if you're going shooting guard or you're trying to fill out the shooting guard position, um, you're gonna want one of these two. Like I said, Clarkson more so if you want to dribble around a little bit. Maybe you're a Shea user or so, and you'd prefer something that's gonna be more familiar to that. But if you're gonna be going with simple, trying to use something that maybe you're not familiar with, you're used to main and bigs, or even you just want a simpler guard. You don't want to have somebody that you got to read the defense and do all that dribbling around and everything. Hero is crazy. A lot of people use him over their um, other superstar guards that they have, like Harden, Wade. They'll go Hero. He's supposed to be like a budget Ray Allen or so. So if you're shooting guard, that's where you want to go. Okay, now small forwards. Cam Johnson and Fuji will not be included. Um, Actually, well, yeah, nah, because he's really just a defensive person, so I don't use him. He has like a little spin jumper, and then I think a some type of dunk he has, but yeah, I don't use him. I got no experience with him, no opinion on him. Okay, your solo queuers for this one are gonna be DeRozan and Ingram. Wiggins is overall just really good, but I feel like he's the best if you have a solid team that knows to get you the ball and things like that. A lot of people, if you play solo queue, kind of ignore small forwards in general, especially when they're open from the three and whatnot. Just they don't like to pass the ball to forwards when it comes to offense. Um, and because his kit is not like anything super crazy, it's easier to score on these guys when you do finally get the ball passed to you. Like I said in solo queue versus trying to get the full uh, potential out of your kit with Wiggins. So Wiggins and Paul George, I'm gonna say team players. Same kind of thing with Paul George. You can ISO. um, slightly if you really know what you're doing. But again, he is someone who is going to shine the most when you have good teammates that know when to get it to you. DeRozan and Ingram are just ridiculous on their own, really. Ingram, not as much. Um, he plays into a reading the defense when they're going to jump and whatnot situation with his shots. So he is okay. But for your mover, the one that's going to be able to get around the court, get you a whole lot of different looks at different types of shots, it's going to be DeRozan. Look at him as kind of like a bigger, less accurate, but still moving around like how Luca kind of does. Um, and it's fun too. It's pretty fun. For 3-point abilities, I believe him and PG both got them. So he's well rounded. He kind of got a little bit of everything. The only thing he's missing is obviously defense. Some of these guys are a little more defensively oriented since that's what the position likes to play to. But I feel like specifically him and Paul George make up for their lack of defensive stuff. With Paul George still having some defense, they make up for it with their offensive side. Okay. So as far as which ones I see later on, I see Wiggins. Okay. A lot of good teams will still run with him. Some good teams will run with George. I'm not gonna lie, as much as I like DeRozan, I don't really see him anymore, and I very rarely see Brandon Ingram. He's kind of easy to lock up after you play against him a good amount of times. So do with that information what you will. As far as Hayward and Brooks go, I know some people still use Hayward. It's another situation like the what was that guard's name? Zhu Chang. You're gonna find somebody in the top 100 that does use him and says he's crazy and can do this and that, and it is possible that he does that in their hands. Um, I haven't ran into a crazy one, and I don't think I've had a crazy one on my team. Like I haven't seen this insane Gordon Hayward people talk about. Dylan Brooks, I have not seen at all. I think he is very defensive from what I've heard, but I have not seen like anybody play him. Even when I was still in gold and ranking up from there, I maybe one out of every 100 games. So yeah, small forwards done. Now power forwards. First, let's get it out the way, not including Williamson, because although I have put some resources into him, I never actually used him like that. Anderson unused. Who else? We're gonna include Julio just because. Kaminga also. Damn, I looks like I did use him a little bit. I think that's from like Dynasty and 5v5 earlier when I didn't have any bigs because I don't remember using him. But yeah, he's not gonna be in here. McDice ain't gonna be in here. We're mainly gonna cover Siakam, Gordon, Jackson, and Julio. Draymond Green, he's newer. This is another situation where just I don't really see anybody use him. I upgraded him for challenges pretty much. I haven't actually taken him into a game, as you can see by my little overall stuff over here. And from what I've seen on this kit, he's not like super duper crazy or anything like that. So I think that's why I don't see him. If you're a fan of him, obviously you could pick him up, try him out. I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm just, giving y'all my opinion on where I see him. Um, your solo queuers are going to be Siakam and Gordon. Okay. I guess in that way, even though I don't use Williamson, you can include him in that too. Really, and Julio. I'm not gonna lie, all of these guys are solo queuers with the two better ones probably being Gordon and Siakam. Oof. Okay, Siakam is number one. Gordon might be going back and forth with Julio. And I only say that because Julio is a little putback. If you're playing solo queue, one of the worst things is dealing with teammates that are not passing and are just missing shots. the best thing that you can possibly have when you got to deal with that is somebody that can do putbacks, and he's solid at rebounding too. So really good for that. However, Siakam has the ability to space the floor because he can shoot threes and has abilities geared towards him being able to get to the 3 point line faster than whoever his big man defender might be and getting those threes off. So for that reason, still being at power forward and you have the potential to get those threes off, Siakam has to go number one for me. Um, Gordon is still really good solo queue just because he has the ability to, if he does get blocked for whatever reason, the ball will go up into the air. He can grab that and then go back with it. That's just an insanely crazy thing to have. Um, in a little bit of a way is toxic because yes, that's something you can do and helps you in solo queue, but you shouldn't just be going up forcing dunks to be getting blocked like that. So you really shouldn't look at it as a useful ability for real. It should only be something ideally that happens every now and then you're just, hey, miss time I dunk, still got the possession. No, that's how it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, what you will see with a lot of people, and why I do still see him sometimes, is yeah, people will just dunk spam until they get one off that's not blocked. The person I see the most though at my ranks is this guy. Okay. He has a step back three ability that he can do it on ball, but it's best when he has the ball passed to him. And he can fake that and also like cut and go to the basket if he wants to. He has a solid little move set to him. It's just that yeah, same situation with the other teammate type guys. You got to be on a team that knows when to get you the ball and how to use you and him to the best of your potential. You know. Um, but for that reason, like I said, I still run into a lot of them. A lot of guys will run this guy at the two because he can guard whatever that second position might be on the other team and still provide that floor stretching if the other person happens to be a big. If it is a guard, he's actually going to be kind of dangerous because he does have some defense to him and some speed and just defensive abilities overall. So he's probably, if it was up to me, he's the best. It's just being on a team that's going to use you to where you're getting your, like I said, pretty much your full offensive potential going on. It's not too common, you know. Testing, 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 testing. Okay, when we talk about centers, um, they basically do what you think they do: paint defense and scoring on the inside. So the basic ones like Adebayo, Capella, Nurkic, Adams, not going to include those guys. When we get players like Rondo to global later on, where they can boost anybody's shooting abilities and stuff like that, then those guys might be crazy because you'll get their full defensive kits with everything that they can do, and then they'll also be able to stretch the floor because of their teammate. But the big goal with centers is going to be being able to stretch the floor because everybody at every other center position can already do the rest of the basics. So the dangerous or most dangerous thing that you can be able to do at the center position is getting those three balls off, keeping your center that has to guard you out the paint, opening it up for your other teammates. That idea. Okay. That being said, Porzingis and Brook Lopez are the two we're talking about. Um, I actually had to go through and look because I genuinely kind of forgot that Brook Lopez was an elite just because of how much I see him and how fairly good he is whenever I do play against people that have him. Um, he's just overall solid. He has a catch and shoot that he can do. He can pump fake that and stop. I think just sidestep. I don't think it's a step back. If it's a step back too, then that's ridiculous. Um, but yeah, Porzingis. catch and shoot. Or does he? He actually might not have a catch and shoot. Talking about this like I can't just go in here and look at their abilities. Okay, not a catch and shoot, but he can pass out of a shot, I believe. Yeah. So he has a shot pass out. Um, which doesn't sound like it's the craziest thing, but you'd be surprised how many big men fall for that step back fade a lot because they think that a center going to the goal means that they're immediately going to go dunk the ball. That's why I said spacing is dangerous on these guys. You can get a lot of people to give you basically open shots just because they're focused on your teammates more than they are you. And Porzingis good at it. Lopez great at it. Somewhat similar to like Hero, he's an option that I see a lot of people still use over their superstar center options. Blake, Ben Wallace, Alonzo Mourning, people like that. Now later on in the game, once we get Rondo and we have that help on boosting teammates that aren't supposed to be shooting, then that's when your guys like say Nurkic, Adebayo, Capella, they'll be a little bit crazier because they will be able to do something they're not supposed to do on top of having their entire kit that's already focused on like really good defense and inside, paint scoring. Now they'll be able to shoot too. But until we get Rondo, which will surely be a good while, potentially next year, depending on how they're finna go on this little run. Um, yeah, Porzingis, Brook Lopez, those are going to be my recommendations for the center position. That being said, hopefully this is helpful for some people. Get my new guys set up and, filled out with their rosters so that they can get these challenges done. And then, like I said, for newer people, just kind of giving you some tips on people. Now, as far as doing in depth videos on skills and stuff, kind of like I said with the Iverson video, I will go through and probably do the people I am used to using, and then we'll kind of run it like half that, half requests from other people. As people are putting in requests for tips and stuff like that on certain people, we'll throw them in. But for the most part, people are just going to come in here and look at all the skills and read them. Um, so outside of that, hopefully y'all enjoyed this one. The superstar version of this will be out soon. We'll try to get it out before the Wimby video, but once Wimby gets here, you know how it gotta go. So I will catch y'all on the next one, and y'all be smooth.